115 years of history. That's the weight the Blue Diamond Growers almond processing plant carried in the heart of Sacramento. Operations kicking off back in 1910. Generations built lives around it, fathers passing skills to sons, grandmothers guiding granddaughters through the lines. Families depended on those paychecks, communities leaned on the economic ripple. Then, in June 2025, the announcement hit. The historic Midtown facility would wind down, shifting most production to plants in Turlock and Salida over the next couple of years. About 600 jobs impacted. The world's leading almond cooperative wasn't collapsing from lack of nuts or demand. California still grows roughly 80% of the global supply. No, the math changed. The old buildings, the rising costs, the layers of rules and expenses made staying put a losing battle. And the hits kept coming. Leprino Foods, the powerhouse behind much of the mozzarella topping your Domino's, Pizza Hut, and Papa John's pies, delivered similar news. Their East plant in Lemoore, running since 1910, is slated to close early 2026, with around 336 positions vanishing. Longtime workers like Dave Costa, whose family ties stretch back decades through mill calling and plant shifts, called it devastating, one of the Valley's best-paying factory gigs. Gone. 3 generations of livelihoods erased in a single corporate pivot. This isn't isolated bad luck. It's a pattern screaming from corporate filings, state notices, and economic reports. Companies aren't fleeing because business dried up. They're escaping a system where success became punitive. Blue Diamond cited the inefficiencies of a century-old site, too costly, too outdated. Leprino pointed to aging equipment, massive upgrade needs, and California's punishing operating environment. Translation? Energy bills through the roof, endless compliance demands, environmental penalties stacking up, taxes and regulations that turn profit margins razor thin. It's cheaper to walk away from established infrastructure, retrain workers, and rebuild elsewhere than fight another year in the Golden State. Leprino didn't shrink. They expanded. Their massive new 850,000 square foot facility in Lubbock, Texas, opened in early 2025 and is ramping up to handle huge daily milk volumes while adding hundreds of jobs. Production moves 1,200 miles away because Texas delivers affordable power, streamlined rules, and a welcome mat for industry. Same story elsewhere. Companies crunch the numbers and conclude California's burdens outweigh the benefits of staying. Now zoom out to the bigger crisis: fuel. While food processors pack up, the state's refining backbone crumbles. Phillips 66 wrapped conventional operations at its Los Angeles refinery by late 2025. Valero follows, idling its Benicia plant by spring 2026. Together, that's roughly 17% of California's refining capacity, erased, hundreds of thousands of barrels per day gone. The state once boasted over 40 refineries. Soon, it'll hover around 7 for nearly 40 million people. California's special carbo gasoline blend, crafted to meet strict air rules, can't just swap in from Texas or the Gulf Coast. Only a few spots worldwide produce it reliably, many in Asia. When a local refinery hiccups for maintenance or outage, forget quick truck deliveries. Wait for tankers from India or South Korea. Weeks of delay, spikes in price, potential shortages, lines at pumps reminiscent of the 1970s oil shocks, but this time self-imposed. Diesel follows the same path. Trucking costs for everything almonds from new sites, cheese from Texas, groceries, construction materials climb sharply. Forecasts vary, but many point to diesel and gas pushing toward $8 per gallon by late 2026, some even warning $10 in tougher scenarios. Current statewide averages already hover well above national levels. This accelerates the gap. Trucking firms hedge now or face doubled logistics bills. Grocery chains pass it on your pizza, milk, bread, nuts all get pricier. Shortages loom if disruptions hit. Premium grades vanish first, then regular, then commercial diesel rationing. The ripple spreads beyond borders. Nevada draws about 88% of its fuel from California pipelines. Arizona, Oregon, Washington tied into the same West Coast supply web. When California's refineries thin out, regional prices jump. One state's policy choice becomes a multi-state headache. Human stories cut deepest. Workers who spent 30, 40 years at these plants watch legacies dissolve. Local tax revenues tank, schools lose funding, roads degrade, services strain. Sacramento eyes redevelopment opportunities for the 50-plus acre Blue Diamond site. Lemoore wonders what's next for its shuttered facility. Optimistic statements from officials ring hollow when high-wage jobs flee. And the policy flip? Facing the fallout, spiking prices, departing businesses, supply warnings, the administration pushed through Senate Bill 237 in September 2025. It fast-tracks up to 2,000 new oil well permits annually in Kern County starting 2026, easing environmental reviews, allowing plug-and-drill swaps, minimizing delays and lawsuits. This from leaders who'd previously slashed permits near zero in parts of 2025 and eyed phasing out extraction by 2045. Why the U-turn? Reality but hard, refineries closing, diesel climbing, food plants relocating, public anger building in an election cycle. Stabilizing supply became priority one. But here's the brutal irony. More crude from Kern won't fix much without refineries to process it into usable fuel. The plants are already winding down or gone. Texas has both upstream production and downstream capacity plus policies that attract, not repel, investment. Picture 2026 unfolding. Valero idles in April. Diesel surges overnight. Trucking rates double or triple. Food shipments cost more, arrive slower. Grocery shelves thin during disruptions. Gas lines form and maintenance spikes. Hoarding kicks in. We've seen previews. This could be worse self-inflicted, with fewer buffers. The overpayment at California pumps already tallied tens of billions in recent years. Now, with capacity shrinking while demand holds, the pain multiplies. Analysts project sustained hikes, volatility spikes, import dependence growing. If you're in California, choice is narrow. Businesses source out of state if possible. Individuals stock non-perishables, fill tanks on dips. Many follow the company's lead, relocate to Texas, Arizona, Nevada, Florida, where energy is reliable, cost sane, government's business friendly. This isn't panic. It's pattern recognition from public records, announcements, economic models. California experiments in aggressive regulation over reliable infrastructure. The West watches. When prices hit new highs, shelves strain, lines return. Remember, the warnings came from the data, not headlines. I'm tracking these developments as they evolve. The mainstream glosses over with transition talk and redevelopment dreams while core systems fray. If this resonates, pass it along. In months ahead, when the full weight lands, the unfiltered view will matter more than ever. Stay alert, this chapter is still writing itself.